My name is Matthew Hardy. I'm the owner of Assisting Hands South Jacksonville. We serve Clay County and Duval County in Jacksonville, Florida.
Thanks for being on Care Across America, and tell us, how long have you guys been in this business? What made you get started?
So we got our license a little over 2 years ago, and we were both working full-time professional jobs. I was in IT and my wife was a full-time teacher. And we both had a desire to do something where we had an opportunity to serve the public. She was doing it already. I felt like I was not. And so she joined me in this endeavor. We came into this business with a heart to serve not only the clients, but the caregivers as well. Seeing caregivers being treated as a commodity or as a number, we felt there was a large opportunity to serve both sides of the equation.
And you know what? I know being a teacher, that is a hard job, right? And so this is also a very challenging role that you both have taken on. So tell me a little bit about your roles within the company. What does Tracy do versus what do you do, or do you divide things up?
Yeah, so we divide things up somewhat. I am the CEO, so I do a lot of the marketing myself, going out, a lot of the outside work, making connections, doing the networking, do a lot of some of the payroll and some of the bookkeeping kind of stuff. And she is the COO, but also handles scheduling, interfacing with the caregivers, and joins me when she can outside, and we get to do some marketing stuff together, which is fun.
Yeah, that's always great to be able to have lunch together and go see some folks that you're probably getting very familiar with by this time. So
Yeah.
that's great. So you share some of the roles, and I get it. And you also both wear a lot of hats, it sounds like still.
Yeah, we're young in the company, so we're wearing a lot of hats for sure.
But you know what? There's never going to be enough home care agencies to take care of the number of seniors who could really use a little help around the house.
Yeah.
So tell us, in the years that you've been doing this, when someone calls the office and they are an overwhelmed adult child, probably somebody my age in their 50s who has a mom or dad in their 70s, what is it like? What happens when someone calls the office?
Yeah, I think overwhelmed is often the right word for when they finally reach out for help. They've usually reached some kind of crisis point or breaking point. And so we understand that. So the first thing our front desk person does, who's Megan, she's very great at listening. So a lot of what the call is listening. We're trying to get the information we need and gather the relevant details, of course, but just kind of get a feel for what the situation is, what is going on. Oftentimes, like you said, we're dealing with that sandwich generation where maybe they have some high school age kids still, and they're dealing with parents who are aging. They're working full time still, trying to make decisions for mom and dad they've never had to make before. And so it is an overwhelming process. And so every step of the way, we try to go in with that understanding that we're there to provide solutions and offer solutions that would enable them to step back into their role as child instead of caregiver.
Yes, we hear that a lot. It's so nice as an adult child for me to be able to go to a mom and dad's house and not be worried about doing a load of laundry when I can just sit and visit with them for a while, or maybe sort their mail with them. But there's someone else that can do a little bit of meal prep, or maybe change the bed linen, or maybe they helped mom get a shower this morning. Those are the kinds of things that as a daughter I appreciate, and it takes a lot of stress and worry off of me because now I can just visit, or I can go out to dinner with them, or whatever they're capable of doing, or bring dinner in, as opposed to worrying about grocery shopping maybe, or something, or putting the food away. So that's a tremendous help and stress reliever. And so when someone calls your office and they talk to Megan, and then you guys obviously do that in-home or living room visit if you can, and sit and talk to everybody. And what kinds of services do a lot of your clients request? Is it related to maybe memory loss issues or mobility issues like Parkinson's disease? What kinds of things are you seeing most in your practice?
Yeah, there's really a wide mix of what we go out for. We don't have a minimum number of hours. So there are people we go out and all we do is give them a bath. And there are people who we care for 24/7. There are fully paralyzed people we care for. There are people who just need help because they suffer from PTSD, and we're able to help them under the VA program. So we see quite a range of experience. Yes, the dementia is very prevalent. We see a lot of help with the memory, cognitive kind of issues, and the later stage that turns physical, of course. We see some Parkinson's, we see mobility, and then just aging in place. We have two clients over 100 right now.
That's
Both of them are
cool.
actually pretty spry, and it's pretty fun to visit with them. They're some of my favorite to go talk to.
Yeah.
But it's a wide range of cases really that we're able to help with.
That's really nice. It sounds like you do have 24/7 care is a big job. And then just somebody who needs a bath or maybe a tuck in or get up in the morning. It's nice that you don't have a minimum amount of hours because most home care agencies do require some minimum. But it's nice that you guys have been able to do that for now and be able to just do those bath, probably, what would you say, bath visits, probably 2 hours at least?
Yeah, it's generally an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah, it just because it's a lot, just making sure everything's set up and tidy and all finished and everybody's dressed and ready to go. So that's really nice. Sometimes that's really all people need is to get their day moving or get cleaned up a little bit. And then,
Yeah, and it's an option for us. We know it's an extra burden on scheduling on Tracy, but we found a way where the caregivers enjoy it. We're able to put it on the front end or back end of a shift for them. They get paid a little bit more for it. And then it lets us just do our mission of being able to serve as many people as we can.
and that's great. It is a really hard thing to do, just to say no minimum hours. That's why most don't. But if your caregivers are able to work in a specific location where they can jump over to somebody else's house and help them here and there, that's great. That, and as long as you guys can do that, I'm sure the caregivers appreciate that too. Extra pay, extra hours. And you mentioned that you really wanted to serve the caregivers too. And tell us about that, your wish to make sure they have a good place to work and a healthy environment and all those things.
Yeah, we want to be God honoring in everything we do. And part of that is how we treat our employees. And we want them to feel supported in whatever they're going through, even if it's personal matters. So we have people bring issues and invite us into their lives. We have a community online where we have a sharing board where they can share needs with each other. We're looking at starting a caregiver care program for caring for each other, where they can present even financial needs, and the business will help fund some of those. We have a lot of programs that are above and beyond the normal for engaging caregivers and doing some extra benefits and trying to recognize above and beyond service. And so, yeah, we try to go the extra mile, not just to be competitive in the marketplace or reduce turnover, those kind of things. We do it because we think it's the right thing to do.
That is an excellent, I'm so glad to hear you say that. I think everybody wants to take care of their caregivers, but when I hear you say you have special programs or even a chat board set up where everybody can share, that's different. And that makes your environment a great place to work. I know everybody's not together all the time and you're by yourself when you're out there in home care, which some people love, and that's fine. You're with the clients, but it's not like you see each other every single day. So being able to communicate and talk to each other and help each other online on their phones, because I would imagine most of the caregivers are on their phones, and
Mhm.
if they feel supported, they will stay.
Yeah,
And if they feel supported, that if they have an issue, it doesn't make you mad, it makes you want to help them.
right.
So that is great. And everybody wants a supporting and kind environment at work. And so that sounds like an awesome thing that you guys are doing. Really, pay matters, but when it comes to whether it's a toxic environment or a wonderful supportive environment, that's what makes people stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it comes from the top down. So you guys are a great example of that. So thank you for doing that. Do you want to
Yeah.
talk a little bit about, you mentioned veterans. Do you want to
Mhm.
talk a little bit about your services for veterans?
Yeah, really, that's it's one of my favorite things we get to do is provide free care for veterans. So many of them qualify and don't realize it. I try to talk to every veteran I see, all the guys who wear the Vietnam veteran era hats out for breakfast or whatever, and just let them know the VA will does have a program called Homemaker Aid and Assist or Home Health Aid and Aid and Assistance are separate programs. But through the Home Health Aid program, we're able to provide free in-home care to veterans, basically, as long as they need some help with something like bathing or grooming, dressing, meal prep, those kind of things, your typical activities of daily living. They can qualify through their local VA. We encourage every veteran, and we try to get this message out there, to sign up with the VA and go at least once a year. Have a primary care there. They don't have to be your only primary care, but just gets you in the system, and it's another layer of protection. So when you need to spin up services, instead of 6 weeks to 3 months, it can be a matter of just a week or two.
That's great. That is awesome. And so if someone is interested in knowing more about that, they can call your office and you can point them in the right direction.
We love it. Yep, we love it. I go out and speak often. I'm often asked to go out and speak to independent living facilities and assisted living facilities in the area, just about the different veteran programs and what's out there. And like I said, the requirements for service is not retirement, it's 18 months and you can qualify. So people don't realize what's out there. And the other thing we like to tell people is that there's money set aside for them if they're a veteran. Often these guys are very honorable and just feel like, I don't want to take money from someone down the street who might need it more. And we remind them that the government actually sets aside money for every veteran, and most of it just sits there unused.
Yes, you're exactly right. And the VA aid and attendance pension benefit is another program that
Yep.
has been around for years and years. And although the paperwork's a little more complicated, but once they can get all the things together that they need, there's people all over the area. I'm sure you know exactly who can help them get
Mhm.
that process started. And because I think it can be a little confusing at times, but once you have somebody to talk to that can help you get that paperwork in order and make sure you have all the right stuff, then it's a really nice, and spouses, surviving spouses of veterans. So if you know a widow or widower of of someone who was a veteran, it's pretty easy to qualify. Once you meet that criteria, even that surviving spouse can get services. So it's all kinds of options out there for veterans. I'm glad you're spreading the word in your area because that is much needed. Yeah, that's great. So is there anything else with assisting hands that you'd like to talk about or tell us about that you guys specialize in or that you've been doing or seeing out in your community? Just anything we might have missed?
Yeah, like I said, I think what sets us apart is what we say no to, which is we have no deposits, no long-term contracts, no minimums. We try to be as flexible as we can to meet as many people as we can. So we try to, like I said, one of our goals is, we know private pay out of your pocket in home care is not cheap. And if you're going to require 16 hours a week, you're going to exclude a lot of people. And so one of our ideals is to be able to provide this service because we believe it's a great service and it's valuable and we see the difference that it makes. So we want to be able to provide it to as many people as we can, which is why we continue to add payer sources. And when we keep fighting off the urge to have all those things that all the other agencies have, which are those minimums and deposits and things, and because we want this service to be recognized for what it is. So many people don't even know that this kind of service exists out there. We run into people all the time. Oh, I wish I had known about this when
Five
grandma,
years
or
ago, or
5 years ago. Yeah. We try to get the word out there and we try to do it with excellence in everything that we do. We try to do it with compassion in everything that we do. And like I said, we just want to help as many people as we can.
Matt, it sounds like you and Tracy definitely have your hearts in the right place. And with that will come success, and being helpful and a servant to others is really pretty amazing. So thank you for what you do. And thank you for serving the folks that you serve in, it's the sort of the South Jacksonville area, right? That's your, you already said it, but that's your territory, right? And we want to hear more from you, and we want to know more updates about all the things that you guys are up to. So thank you for talking with me today.
It's a privilege. Thank you.